guys, today I'm doing my monthly makeup basket for October of 2019. I am so excited for this because I've taken a break from this series for several months now. I just wasn't feeling as into it, and I know that Shop My Stash videos are so popular, but that's just not the way. I pick items from my collection. I've explained this to you guys before, but I always film my seasonal makeup must-have videos, and then I'll break down the products into 3 different months and then use those items. So for me to go in my collection and pull stuff out will be totally fake because that's not how I go about picking my products. But I decided that I wanted to just start filming these videos again. One little change I'm going to be making though is that these videos might be a little bit longer because I'm going to be recapping some of my products that I tested from the previous month. Since I'm no longer doing monthly favorites and I'm just doing seasonal favorites, I don't think that will be too repetitive. So I'm feeling very excited about that. So we are just going to jump right in with the recap. So I'm going to be using the same base, cheek, and brow products as I did last month. So I'm just going to be going over the eye and lip products that I will be changing out. So there were 3 eye palettes that I focused on last month. The first one is the Anastasia Master Palette by Mario. I did create a couple looks with this one. I definitely wish I did create a few more, but this is a palette that I know I love. This was a sweet gift from my amazing friend Christine, and I'm so happy to have this one in my collection. Isabelle is one of the best shades ever, so I really enjoyed the look I created, and I do love that palette. Next, for the first time, I used the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. I've created several different looks with this one. I really love this palette. The quality is fantastic. I think they have a great variety of mattes and shimmers. Highly recommend this one, and I'm very grateful that they did bring this back. It was released last holiday, but it is available now, so I definitely would recommend picking it up if you haven't already. This is a really nice formula, and the colors are really awesome for Too Faced, who can sometimes be a little bit repetitive or a little bit boring. I definitely recommend that palette. And then the last one would be the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I love the warm tones in here. I love really warm matte shades. I love coppers, so this is right up my alley, and I enjoyed using that one as well. So a video that I was going to film but I decided not to was a video on all of the unused products in my collection, and I had tried to film it several times, but I just didn't feel up to it, and I kept putting it off, so I decided just to forget that idea, and I'm going to just incorporate those unused products into my monthly makeup basket videos. So I had a ton of single shadows, which is what I'm going to be incorporating. So there were 5 singles that I had tested over the past month, and the first one is the Clinique Lid Pop in the shade Willow Pop, which is a beautiful golden olive. This does have a decent amount of pigment to it. It's shines really pretty on the lid. This is a product that I really like. I love golden olive colors. They're definitely right up my alley. This is a nice formula. However, it's not amazing. It's not like the most metallic or the most shiny or shimmery. My sister did declutter this to me, which is why I kept it. I wouldn't really probably recommend buying any of these eyeshadows because they just aren't as punchy. I love the cheek pops, and this is a good formula, but I just probably wouldn't buy any myself, but I am gonna keep this one. I do like it enough. Then I used 4 ColourPop Super Shock shadows. The first one is the shade Three's a Cloud. It's an ultra metallic finish. It is like a yellow golden orange color that looks very bright and beautiful on the lid, so I will be keeping this one. And the next one is Telepathy. It's an ultra metallic finish. I'm wearing this on my lids now. This is the first time I've worn this shadow. I think it's very beautiful, so I did just pair it with some more warm browns. I really do like this one. It is very bright and poppy. I would love some suggestions in the comments down below of different ways to wear this shadow, like different colors to combine with it, but I am happy enough with this shadow, so I will be holding on to it. And then the next 2 shadows I'm going to be decluttering because they're just too dark for me. So the first one is Lit Year. It's an ultra glitter finish, and you can see that intense teal glitter, but then it's just this really dark base, which I don't love. Is the shade Plaid. It's a beautiful deep dark forest green, army green. I do like this color. It is a matte finish, but it actually performs more like a satin. This is something that I don't like using the Super Shock formula in my crease. It's too hard to blend out, especially with a dark color like this. So this is something that I would put on my lid. It just makes my eyes look really tiny and closed, and they already are very like squinty. And it's just way too dark for me. If I'm going to use something like this, I would rather use more of like a lighter golden olive. I don't think that this does anything for me, so I am going to be passing on those two shadows. And my last thing to recap would be the lip product. So this is a mini of the Buxom Full On Lip Polish in the shade Celeste, which is just a very shimmery, glittery, sheer peachy color. And it is very beautiful. It does make your lips look fuller, nice and shimmery. This is not something I would buy on its own. I did get this in a set, and I know that this was very popular for a little period of time, so I am happy to have this, but it's not necessarily a must-have in my collection. Then I do have one more gloss. This is a Tarte Tarte's Glossy Lip Paint in the shade Goals, which is a beautiful like neutral rose color. I do love the formula of these glosses. They are pretty opaque, but they don't feel too heavy on the lips. And right here is a swatch of Goals, so I'm going to be keeping this one. Next I have the Tarte Matte Lip Surgeons in the shade Bare. I feel like this is starting to dry out a little bit, but I am able to work it onto my lips just fine. This is just a really beautiful Marsala type shade. I do love this formula so much. I don't think that this color is holy grail, but it is a really pretty shade. I did enjoy using this. And then I have been wearing today, this is the Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Stripped. I have so many of the Anastasia liquid lips, and they're just very chalky, very drying, and I kind of wish I hadn't bought so many. And right here is Stripped. It is a very pale nude, but it's not as pale as Pure Hollywood from Anastasia, and it has more of like a peachy or beige undertone. I do think that it's a nice color. It's not a must-have for me. The Anastasia liquid lipsticks in general are not must-haves, but this is a nice nude color. And then the last one I have is the Lime Crime Velveteen in the shade Sasha, which is a little more like terracotta rose. I know I'm not describing that correctly, but there's what that one looks like. It's a very pretty color. I do like this formula. It does set down completely, but it's not as like powdery, chalky feeling as the Anastasia formula, so I'm definitely going to be keeping that one. That is all for the recap. Now I'm going to jump into the products that I am going to be using for the month of October. So I have 3 polishes that I have not purchased. These were free gifts to me in some capacity, so I want to test them out, see if I like the color and the formula. So this first one I got from a Facebook ad. This is Essie's Say It Ain't Soho, which is an intensely metallic copper orange color. It looks like a foil. It's really pretty, but I will be interested to see how I like this on my nails. Usually I don't love super foiled, and I don't go for a ton of metallics, although I am wearing a metallic on my nails today that I really love. This is KO Polished Prince Cornelious. I used 4 metallic KO polishes last month and I absolutely love them, so maybe I'll like this one just as much. But I think like this has like a metallic base, and then it has multi-dimensional like glitter particles in it, and this is such like a solid metallic. I think it will look like a foil, but I hope that I enjoy it and that it's a good formula. I feel good about this one. Then I have 2 polishes from Pretty Serious. These were gifted to me by my friend Amanda Alexander. This is Morning Java, and this one is Baron von Beautiful. So I am hoping for the best. I think these colors are definitely unique to my collection, and I am excited to try some polishes from that brand. So I will also, I'll be wearing those 3, but then I will be testing out some of the polishes from my chopping block. I do have quite a few that I want to test for the fall, so that's why I've only chosen those 3. Moving on to the makeup products. So I am currently doing a project campaign for the fall. I'll have my playlist linked up in the cards. I might be spoiling the progress a little bit here, so just a little sneak peek about what's to come. So for my brows, I am starting off with the NYX Eyebrow Shaper Wax Pencil as my base. Then I am using a combination of brow pencils. This is the NYX Micro Brow in the shade Taupe. I'm almost done with this one, thank God. I feel like I've been using the same one for ages. And I don't have to use very much because I combine it with a thicker angled brow pencil. This is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power in Universal Taupe. You guys, like, this is gonna take me ages to get through. I've been using this every single day and there is literally no visible progress, which is bonkers. But I mean, I guess you're definitely gonna get your money's worth if you buy one of these. And then I just finished up a brow gel and I've started using again the Anastasia clear brow gel, which I absolutely love, so it'll be nice to use that one. So that is just my go-to brow routine, filming days and work days. So for complexion products, I've actually made some great headway with the items in my project pan. So for primers, I have the Peter Thomas Roth Skin to Die For mattifying primer, which I am currently mixing with the Cover FX Water Cloud primer. And then for my pores, I'm using the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. For foundation, I am using the Tarte Sealer Foundation in the shade 13 in Fair Neutral, which I should be able to use up within this next month. And then I'm going to start working on a foundation combo that I am wanting to try to finish up in 2020. And that would be the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation in the shade Light 43 Warm, and the ColourPop No Filter Foundation in the shade Fair 15. This is lighter, it is nice and yellow tone, and this does help thin out the consistency of the Kat Von D, which is very thick. So I'm excited to get a jump start on this combo because both of these foundations are pretty darn full. And the Kat Von D I think is the oldest one in my collection, so I definitely want to get that used up. Then for concealers, as my under eye corrector, I am still using this Becca under eye corrector. It's gonna take me ages to get through. I'm using it every single day, but I only need a tiny amount, so steadily working on that one. For my under eye concealer, I'm using this Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair Neutral. Oh my goodness. I've scraped out so much of this. I've got a lot of product at the top and at the bottom. I tried to take out the stopper and I completely mutilated the packaging. I stabbed myself in the hand a couple times and then I just have given up. It's not worth it. Last year when I popped the stopper out of my old tube, I actually broke my tweezers and I really don't want to do that again. So I'm scraping as much as I can and then I'm gonna move on to something else. And for my blemish concealer, I'm using my tried and true Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade 1 in Extra Light Neutral. For my powder to set my under eyes, I'm using what I have left of the Dermablend Translucent Loose Setting Powder, which is not a ton. And then to set my face, I'm using a combination of the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade 5 Fair and the Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder, which is really helping a lot with this foundation, which is really glowy and can break down really easily on my skin. Having a more mattifying powder has really helped. So that is my current base routine, along with my setting spray that I'm going to be using for the month. This is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus Matte version. I've used this a couple times and I do like it, but I would like to use it quite a bit more. Now for cheek products, for bronzer, I am using the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil, which I've absolutely been loving. This is such a perfect tone for my skin during the fall. And then for contour, I'm using two different things. I'm testing them out. These are two neglected products in my collection. And the one I've been using the most currently is the Bobbi Brown bronzer in the shade Medium. This is a little bit more rosy tone, but it isn't too red or too pink. I've actually really been liking this to contour. So this is one I've used mostly, but I also want to test out the NYX bronzer in the NARS bronzer in Laguna as a contour. I know how people used to like really rave about this for a bronzer or a contour, and this color just scares me. So we'll see how it looks on my skin tone. Like I said, I haven't used that one yet. Then I do have 3 highlighters. Of course, I have my Holy Grail Mary Luminizer from The Balm. This is my favorite highlight of all time, but my go-to for the fall, but I would like to get some use out of the Kat Von D Metal Crush eyeshadow in Thunderstruck, as well as the Juvia's Place Tribe Highlighter Volume 3, which is the lightest one. Then we have my blushes. I am using the same blushes all fall long. I don't have too many, so I just put them all in my makeup basket. So here I have MAC Cantaloupe and MAC Melba, two of my holy grail blushes. This one is more peachy tone, this one has more pink in it. Another cult classic would be MAC Mineralized Blush in Warm Soul. I do have the original version. It's such a pretty shade, gives a nice healthy glow in the skin. Then I've got my Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Ginger Pop. I really love this one. A lot of my blush is a little bit more neutral tone, and this one is still neutral, but it has more pigment to it. It has more color in case I am going with something that's like really warm tone on the eyes or a little bit more understated and I want more color on my cheek. This one is perfect, and I do love the Cheek Pop formula. Then something new to me is the Pixie Fresh Face blush in the shade Beach Rose. This does give like a sunburn look to the cheeks, but more of like peachy instead of red. It's so pretty. Then I have the Balm In-Stain Blush in Swiss Dot, which is definitely the most orange out of the bunch, but it isn't a bright orange. It's like a muted orange, but it's still very pigmented. I can't quite describe it, but this is a really nice shade if I'm going with something a little bit more neutral in the eye as well. Then I have one of my deeper blushes. This is Becca Mineral Blush in Songbird. I can only use a light amount of this, but it's such a pretty burnt, spicy orange color that looks so stunning on the cheeks. And then I have two blushes I'm a little bit on the fence about, and I'm wanting to get some more use out of them. This first one is the Too Faced Sweethearts Perfect Flush Blush in the shade Peach Beach. I've always wanted this one forever, but I think I like Warm Soul more, but I'm going to test that out further. And the same with the Laura Geller Baked Blush in Brighten in the shade Tropic Hues, which is more corally, which is pretty and a little bit different than the ones I've got going on here. Usually I use something coral in the summertime, but I wanted to use this one in the fall, and I do think it is nice. It's a great formula, but I do like the color as well. So those are all the cheek products I'm going to be using for the months of October and November, and I use them all in September. For eye products, for primer, I'm currently using the Milani eyeshadow primer, which is definitely my favorite. So for shadow, I have singles, a small palette, and then 3 larger palettes that I'm going to be using. The first single is Urban Decay's Rift. This is such a beautiful warm brown. I hate that this shade has shimmer in it. It doesn't show up shimmery on the lid. It does look like a satin or matte shade, but like that's so annoying because in the Born to Run palette, it does not have all the shimmer in here, and I like it so much more. So that's an annoying fact about this, but I do still like the color, and I want to get some more use out of this one. And the same goes for my other Urban Decay singles that I purchased previously and I still have not used, which is a real shame. And I have this matte orange called Spike and this matte red called Relish. I would definitely love to get some use out of these. The colors are so pretty, and I know that at least they swatch well, so we'll see how they perform. Then for some shimmery options, I'm very excited for this. A little nervous because I think that the formula is a little finicky and it is incredibly hard to open. So this is one of the Doso Colors of Block Party eyeshadows in the shade Encore, which is that warm brown that Kathleen Lights used in a tutorial and really love. So I'm definitely excited to test this out, and I hope that I really, really enjoy it. And then I have one ColourPop Super Shock, and I've used this one before, but not a ton, so I want to get more use out of it. This is in the shade Donna. It's a pearlized finish. This is a beautiful peacock blue, which is right up my alley. To me, this is a very wearable color, and I would love to use it more. Then for my small palette, this is something that is also unused in my collection. Like I said, I try to pull out a lot of my unused makeup products to put in this makeup basket and for next month's makeup basket. So this is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Copper eyeshadow palette. These colors are so beautiful. I wanted this palette for forever, and I finally found one at TJ Maxx that was unused, and for something I wanted so bad, I haven't used it yet. So I am definitely excited to do that. Then for my 3 smaller palettes, all of these are unused and brand new to me. So this first one is the ColourPop Good Sport palette. I think I got this one for Christmas or around Christmas time last year, and I still haven't used it. When this one came out, people were really comparing this to the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette, but I think it's definitely different enough, so that will be fun to use, as well as another ColourPop palette. This is Through My Eyes. It was a collab with Karen, or I Love Sarai. And this is a slightly larger palette with a lot of really beautiful shades, and I think these two will go nicely together, or of course separate. And then my last palette is the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette. The colors in here are absolutely stunning. I've heard great things about this, but I definitely need to look up some tutorials using it, and I really hope it performs very well, just like their singles and their other palettes. And then something I used last month, and I'm going to continue using all fall long, is my Custom Z palette. So in this palette I have Makeup Geek, MAC, ColourPop, Colored Rain, and this one right here is a Look-See shadow. I also have Anastasia. Then for liner and mascara, for liquid liner, I am using the Fenty Beauty Fly liner in the shade Cause I'm Black. And then my pencil liner, which I'm wearing my lower lash line today, is the Maybelline Lasting Drama in the shade Striking Copper, which was discontinued, but look for this on eBay or Amazon. It's so amazing. Then my mascara combo I just started using this month. That way I can just toss these at the end of the year. I'm gonna track my mascara by just keeping it open for every 3 months. So first I have a primer. This is the Lancome Cils Booster XL. Then I have the Tarte Man Eater mascara, which is a plastic bristle wand, which is not my favorite. This does give some separation and some length, but my lashes aren't really thick enough to need separation. Then I've got the Sephora Lash Craft Big Volume Mascara, which is nice in theory, but it's just okay for me. I'm not obsessed with this, so this combo is not my favorite. My plan is to use it for 3 months, but I might use it up sooner. We'll see, because neither of these are a very wet formula, and I also have had them for a little while in my collection, unopened, but I've still had them for a little while. So those are all of the eye products I'll be using. Lastly, we have lip products. I have 6 items here that I would like to get some good use out of this month. The first is a lip combo that is still like my holy grail lip combination. I've used up both of these products completely and repurchased them. So this is the Tarte Matte Lip Surgeons in the shade Exposed, which is a beautiful peachy nude color, and this one is still very creamy. It might be because I've used this one a lot more than the Bare shade, but it is such a comfortable formula, a really pretty shade. And then I top it with the Buxom Full On Lip Polish in Sandy, which is a nice light peachy nude. And here's Sandy. Right up here was Celeste, which you can tell has, well, maybe you can't tell now, but it has a lot more of a shine to it, but mostly a lot of glitter, where Sandy has a little bit of pigment and then mostly a lot of like juicy shine, but it doesn't have that glitter, which makes it a little bit more comfortable for me. Then I do have a few more glosses. This is the NYX Butter Gloss in Creme Brulee, which is a beautiful peachy pinky nude. It kind of depends what you pair it with. I've always considered this to be peachy, but in comparison, it does look a little bit more of like a warm peachy pink, which is so beautiful, and I love this formula. And then I have the Anastasia lip gloss in the shade Kristen. This is not my favorite formula because it is so full coverage, but I do really love this color, and I wish I could find it in a more like medium opacity formula or in like a regular lipstick. And right here is Kristen. Also, the scent of these is like really sickeningly sweet to me. Then I've got 2 liquid lipsticks. This is Dose of Colors Truffle. Again, one of my favorite liquid lipsticks. This I've always thought was more of a peachy tan, but in the swatch it shows a little bit more of the pinky tones, like more of a pinky beige, but on me I swear it looks like a peachy tan. So right there is Dose of Colors Truffle, one of the oldest liquid lipsticks in my collection, but I did just get a backup during the 21 Days of Beauty. I'm going to use this one for this fall, and then I will end up replacing it. And then the last product we have is an Anastasia liquid lipstick in the shade Ashton, which looks amazing on medium skin tones. And I saw this one a couple years ago at TJ Maxx and just had to get it. It is like a warm medium brown tone liquid lip. So there is Ashen right there. It's a very pretty color. I haven't used this one a ton, but I would love to challenge myself to use that color because I think it is very pretty. So right down here, these are the lippies that I am going to try my best to use this month. Sometimes the looks that I end up creating, I don't love these lippies with them, but I think I picked a good variety here, so we should be set. So guys, that was my monthly makeup basket for October, and then a little recap on some of the things I used in September. I'm feeling excited about doing this series again. I'm excited to use these products, so I would love to know your feedback on whether you would like me to continue doing these videos, or if there's a way that you think I can restructure that would be a little bit more interesting. Definitely let me know, and I would love to know your thoughts on any of these products, and I would love to know what things you plan on using this month. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.